All right, YouTube, once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. It's always is great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. All right, so you wouldn't know it's the offseason because Auburn is still the topic of discussion. Always something to talk about with these Auburn Tigers. Now, if you want to get the Auburn fan base grinds geared, you want to get them beside themselves, you want to get them absolutely just on the edge. One, you'll talk about Gus Malzahn. That's a topic of discussion where it's always an iffy vibe when you start talking about Gus Malzahn. You ask an Auburn fan, hey, what do you think about Gus Malzahn? Even the Gus Malzahn supporters still have that I like Gus but vibe to him. Another area where you can really get some folks fired up is talking about whether Gus Malzahn is or is not going to be calling plays. So this article comes out today where Gus Malzahn pleads that he's going to allow Chad Morris, the new offensive coordinator from Arkansas, to call plays. All right, now that sounds real nice in theory, but we all know what has happened over the past few years when Gus Malzahn has decided to go with the offensive coordinator. Chip Lindsey, I think, was more than experienced enough to run the offense. Gus Malzahn, I just don't think Gus Malzahn liked the type of offense that Chip Lindsey ran. Definitely just had zero faith in Kenny Dillingham, and somewhat rightfully so. You talk about experience, you talk about your career actually being on the line. You putting that with a guy who has some, somewhat success with a team in Memphis. But how do Auburn fans really feel about this? Do they feel like Gus Malzahn is genuinely going to give over the play calling duties? I will speak on behalf of myself because I really can't speak on behalf of Auburn fans because you just never know. But I think Gus should give up calling plays. And it's not that he's not an offensive. You can still be an offensive-minded coach and a guru, so to speak, without calling the plays. One of the things that I've noticed in Gus Malzahn as a play caller, he doesn't want to put in the full 60 minutes of play calling. One, the thing that I really dislike is the scripted plays to begin the game with, the 10 scripted plays. And it's almost like he's going to run them. No matter what the defense does, he's going to run them. And I think that gets your offense early out of sync because it makes them lose confidence because plays that they thought they would have made or that they would have hit big on, sometime that shit blows up in the backfield. And next thing you know, Gus Malzahn is panicking like, oh, man, the plays that I just knew was going to work against their scheme doesn't work. He's not like Dan Mullen, who's involved in every play, who's involved in all the adjustments. Gus Malzahn wants to jump up on you 21-0, might even get lucky and get up on you 28-0. Look at the LSU game from some years ago. Look at the Texas A&M game from last year. Very nice example of how Auburn jumps on him. Now Gus Malzahn pulls back because he's already tired. He's not equipped to call a full game in Power 5 football. No disrespect to Gus Malzahn, but I've seen the man coach. I've seen him call plays. He wants the big plays. He's not looking for adjustments. So I think you get a guy like Chad Morris, who, just like Dan Mullen, takes pride in offense, coaching the full offensive scheme, making adjustments. And I think it could work out a little bit better. Or if nothing else, it'd be a little bit more sound. It'd be a little bit more, have a little bit more continuity about it. Instead of just searching and searching for the big play, and now I can take the rest of the game off, and just let the defense win it out for me. And I just don't think that's an educated way to approach this season because all it's going to do is going to get you right back into the hot seat. It's going to get you right back into the bad graces of the Auburn fan base. And the offense is going to sputter. I just think it is time. Do I think Gus Malzahn would do it? To be fair, that has yet to be seen. I would not hold my breath. Just for the sake of, you don't want to disappoint yourself. But I think he should. I think Gus Malzahn is in a position right now to where he's got to give it up. He tried it, gave it up, tried it again, and it didn't work. I get it. The offensive line may improve this year. Bo Nix has another year under his belt, got some bigger receivers this year. But I'm not sold on the fact that Gus Malzahn is patient enough week in and week out to come up with an educated offensive scheme with all the other things that are going on with recruiting and having to manage different aspects of the football team. I just don't think he can do it. I don't think he should do it. He's not an offensive coordinator. Get you a guy that you trust, that you can put some input in there here and there. Hey, I think we ought to run this right now. But as far as being the sole play caller, I think that would be an absolute mistake. Will Gus hand it over? Who knows? This is probably one of the most gear-grinding conversation of any Auburn fan. But it comes up every year because Auburn always turns over coordinators because of this reason. But this has to be one that Gus has to let stick. Auburn has a decent recruiting class on the horizon and an opportunity to do some magnificent things in 2020, especially with the way the schedule sets up. But Gus can't screw it up. 9 wins is not going to be enough with this particular schedule. With the talent that's supposedly coming in, defense will fall off some because you just can't readily replace a Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson, but should be serviceable enough to continue to be competitive. But I end with this. Gus Malzahn has to give up calling plays for the future of Auburn football and the future of a sound, somewhat easy to watch, a balanced offense for the Auburn Tigers that has not been such somewhat since 2017, and it didn't start to really take stride until after that Texas A&M game, and we're talking almost game 7 or 8. All right, guys, YouTube, once again, is Kennard Vernon Stewart. You all got the news about Gus Malzahn making a public declaration that he will be allowing Chad Morris to call plays this year. Cross your fingers, guys. We don't know. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.